Why, yes, I believe we shall.
Oh, I got a live one here.
Live from Little Rock, it's Shane Plays Radio, Geek Talk Radio, a journey into the things we love. I'm your host, Shane Stacks. Thanks so much for joining us, whether you're listening live in the Little Rock, Central Arkansas area, on 96.5 FM, The Answer, or if you're listening live online at 96.5 FM, theanswer.com, or if you're listening delayed by podcast or on Krypton Radio. I'm just really glad you're here. So glad to have you. Got a cool show today, as always. Today we're going to be talking about Doctor Who. That's right. Doctor Who is back after, except for a Christmas special, after about a year hiatus. I just wanted to say the word hiatus, Zach. What do you think about that? You know, get that mic up there, because you know I got to give you a hard time about something.
Go ahead.
All right. You got Teen Titans digital, right?
Uh-huh.
Because you're like, I got to get it digital 2 weeks early.
Yeah.
If you get the DVD special, but you get a little Blue Beetle figure.
Really?
Yeah. So that's Mr. Digital.
Okay. Cool.
Trying to put Walmart out of business. What's wrong with you, man? Don't you know those Walmart employees need jobs too?
I still go there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the Teen Titans, Zach and I both liked the Judas Contract.
It was really
good.
Mm-hmm.
The animated, they had to change it a little bit, but it was done pretty well.
What would you give it out of 10?
Man, I'd give it a 7 or an 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I agree with that.
Yule. So, and I'd probably give Justice League versus Teen Titans like a 7. So I think it was a little bit better than, it was a step up from, Justice League. Because the Judas Contract is such a good story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the main stories that came out of the Wolfman Perez run from the 80s on Teen Titans. And that was, at one time, Zach, I don't know if you know this or not, I'm sure that my guest, Neale Carter, knows this, who's a big Whovian and who's hanging out to join us. That at one time, Teen Titans in the 80s was the best-selling comic book. It was like outselling everything else by like 3 to 1.
That's pretty cool.
So that was big.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving on. We got to have time to talk Doctor Who. But yeah, man, if you'll just have some patience and wait, you can get the little Blue Beetle figure. And it looks good. That's all I'm saying. Love you, Zach. What movies did you watch last weekend?
Haven't been to the movies.
Last weekend?
No.
You didn't what?
I just decided to go to a baseball game and relax.
Okay. Well, I don't even know what to say to that, because you always go to movies. But anyway, moving on. This is live Geek Talk Radio. You can call it at 501-823-0965. Or you can tweet me at Shane Plays. That's ShanePlays. Like Shane likes to play. Shane Plays. And all, speaking of Shane Plays, you can go to ShanePlays.com, and the show notes for today's show are up right now. So the news items and the stuff we're going to be talking about with Doctor Who and whatnot, there's going to be some links there you can check out, ShanePlays.com. And I always post the blog, or I always post last week's show to the blog as well, and in addition to it going out on the podcast. So you definitely want to check that out. Last week, I'm gonna go to the blog right now and tell you what last week's show was. I'm gonna go to ShanePlays.com. But while that's pulling up, the podcast, the show does go out as a podcast. I love talk radio. I'm not even playing around. I love talk radio so much, but I also love podcasts. So this show is the best of both worlds. It's a live Geek Talk Radio show first, where you can call in at 501-823-0965 or tweet me at Shane Plays, or you can listen to it as a podcast on iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and more. And speaking of ShanePlays.com, I'm looking right now on the front page, and one of the news items is last week was Geek News and Marvel Madness. We had a big, huge Geek News extravaganza, and comedian Michael Brown from Brain Trust with Michael Brown came on, and we talked about the stuff that Marvel has been up to, which is just sad. I don't know how else to put it. Like, I like to be positive and fun on Shane Plays, but I'm just not happy with Marvel right now. We have another news item from them today. It's just crazy. Zach texted it to me. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Good grief. Anyway, also, and this, I wish that Gene was here for this right now, because we're going to be talking about Krypton Radio. Gene Turnbow from Krypton Radio is going to be joining us here in a few minutes to talk about Doctor Who, along with Neale Carter, who's already in the studio. They're both big Whovians. But Shane Plays is also carried on Krypton Radio. Krypton Radio is SciFi for your Wi-Fi, KryptonRadio.com. And we are played there delayed by a week, I think, on Saturdays and Mondays on Krypton Radio. All right. So welcome to the show, Neale Carter.
Hello. Thanks for having me on, Shane.
Man, your credentials are that you're a massive Whovian and geek.
Yes, I am.
You've already established it just in us chatting before the show. You've casually, without even trying, established your geekdom.
Oh, thank
So
you.
you're a card-carrying geek, and I'm glad to have you on. If by some chance our mutual friend Zeb is listening, hello Zeb. And I would have liked to have had him on the show, but real life kept him away today. But I'm going to get him on sooner or later. I'm going to hook him in with his lovely wife. I think we're going to talk about cosplay at some point. So, Zeb he's going to ask a local theater if he can wear his Rocket Raccoon costume to the Guardians of the Galaxy premiere on May 5th.
Well, it's a very great costume. I mean,
he's got a sweet Rocket Raccoon costume.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a picture running around on Facebook of him at me at River City last year, and I'm wearing the very shirt that I'm wearing here in the studio of Rocket Raccoon as the Rocketeer.
Yeah, nice mashup. Yep.
So
good stuff. Yeah, I'm a big Rocket Raccoon fan from back in the 80s when they had the 4-issue miniseries.
Right.
Yeah, I remember I was like, "What is this?" And then the movie came out and it was like Rocket Raccoon. What the? Okay, I know you'll get this. What comic book did Rocket Raccoon first appear in?
Ooh, that's a good question. That one I'm not sure.
The Hulk.
The Hulk.
The
okay.
Hulk somehow ended up on his planet. Yeah, it was just some weird, and then it ended up going from there. So anyway, got to move on here. I'm going to give some love to a sponsor, then we're going to get into the news, and then we're going to have a quick news segment, and then we're going to talk Doctor Who.
Absolutely.
The attack eyebrows are back, but unfortunately, the attack eyebrows are going to be leaving us. So I'm sad. But anyway, we'll talk about that more here in a little bit. Arkansas's original comic and toy convention, the 2017 Little Rock Comic Con, is May 20th and 21st in Benton, Arkansas. Look for Little Rock Comic Con on Facebook or visit lrcomiccon.com. Admission is $10 a day or $15 for the weekend. Tickets can be purchased through Eventbrite until May 18th or at the door. 2017 special guests include Jason Font of Power Rangers Time Force, Gary Chalk, the voice of Optimus Primal for Beast Wars, Justin Nimmo of Power Rangers in Space, comics artist Timothy Lynn, YouTube personality Optibotimus, and more. Come on out and meet the special guests, enjoy moderated panels, cosplay and cosplay contests, dealer booths, and lots of cool comics, toys, and geek culture fun. Don't forget the after party at Dave & Buster's, 7 p.m. Saturday night. After party events must be purchased in advance through Eventbrite by May 18th. So just to avoid confusion, you got to get your after party ticket at Dave & Buster's on Eventbrite by May 18th. You could get your tickets for Comic-Con on Eventbrite by May 18th or at the door, but you can't get your ticket for Dave & Buster's at the door. All right, clear as mud. Dealers and artist tables are available now. The 2017 Little Rock Comic Con is May 20th and 21st in Benton, Arkansas. Look for Little Rock Comic Con on Facebook or visit lrcomiccon.com. And I'm planning to do a live remote there, so that'll be a lot of fun. I like to do live remotes for cons. Okay, Zach, turn on the microphone in the super secret newsroom. Oh, there they go, working hard. They're just right down the hall there, Neale. They're kind of down the hall, and
yes,
we lock them in a storage closet. They're down there working hard, folks. Working on a Saturday. Remember, for every $1 of Patreon support the show gets, the news team gets a penny an hour raise. That it's a win-win. It's a win-win for everybody. All right, I'm hearing rumors. My sonic screwdriver just alerted me that Gene Turnbow from we got Gene Turnbow from Krypton Radio on the phone even as we speak. Gene, how are you doing?
Oh, having a great morning so far. How's your day going?
It's going great. Thanks for joining us. I always mention Krypton Radio on the show, but folks, this is the dude. This is the man, although there are other people helping for sure. This is the driving force behind Krypton Radio, the 24/7 geek internet radio. Krypton Radio is sci-fi for your Wi-Fi. KryptonRadio.com. How do you like that, Gene?
Well, I listen to your show every week.
Great.
And I do notice, that you do give us that shout out at the beginning of every show.
I always say last but never least. Last but never. And the promo that runs on on Krypton Radio, I think, says Shane Plays and Krypton Radio go together exactly like Superman and Kryptonite don't. Isn't that the promo?
Yes, I think that's the one. Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome back to the show. You made it.
Really true.
You made it just in time for the news item, for the news segment, and we're also joined by local Whovian and mega geek Neale Carter, and Gene, Neale is also super hardcore into the SCA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's super hardcore into the SCA. So
I'm a member as well.
Oh, pleasure to meet you, Gene.
Yeah. I'm talking. He's going to put me in touch with the powers that be to maybe I'd like to do a radio show talking about the SCA. I think that's fascinating. So, okay. And for those that don't know, the SCA is the Society for the Creative Anachronism, right? Okay. And it's really well organized and has a pretty big membership, right? Pretty big deal.
50,000 members worldwide. That's
not small.
Nope.
That is not small. Okay. So moving on in the news, we're going to try to have a super quick news segment, so that we can get into talking about Doctor Who. Now, folks, I always at shaneplays.com, I always have the show notes up, and the links for everything we're going to be talking about are there. So I can't spend a lot of time on these news items today, but I do refer you to go to shaneplays.com or just open up Google and search, and you'll find more about it. However, having said that, I do want to press forward because there are some news items that I definitely want to cover. So here we go. And this one bothers me. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because I've talked about it on the show. I've talked about it on my YouTube channel, this and that. And for some reason, Screen Rant, I don't know if y'all can hear that or not, is trying to, dang it. Hold on. Can you kill? I'm going to kill my mic real quick. All right, I'm back. Web designers, of which I am one, don't auto start a video on your web pages for multiple reasons. Anyway.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. In Krypton Radio's case, you get an exception because you're an internet radio station. So if you go there, your sound starts playing, and that makes sense. But if I go to read a news article, don't play video at the top. Anyway, okay. So courtesy screenrant.com, and I'm not spending a lot of time on this. Marvel reveals Captain America was always evil. Always. Not only have they doubled down, they tripled down. Yeah, they've tripled down on this. So here's
back to this junk again.
Yeah, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because I talked about it last week and I've talked about it before. So here's the deal. Everyone always assumed that they would fix all this by saying it was Cosmic Cube stuff that said Captain America was a Nazi. Like they used the Cosmic Cube to rewrite reality so that Captain America was always a Nazi. Well, now they got this secret empire thing going on where Captain America is the big villain. He's killed the Red Skull and assumed leadership of Hydra, which is the Nazis. Okay, I'm not even going to get into that argument. Hydra is the Marvel Nazis. They're super mega Nazis. They're worse than the Nazis. So what they said was, and a Cosmic Cube's involved, that yes, a Cosmic Cube was involved to make him a Nazi. But then they revealed that he was always a Nazi. And what happened was the Nazis won World War II and the Allies got their hands on a Cosmic Cube and rewrote history to where Captain America was a good guy. And then later a Cosmic Cube came along and they made him a Nazi again. So do you see what I'm saying? Are y'all following what I'm saying?
Yes, we're following.
Gene, does that make sense?
I hear the words you say.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to me.
Not only have they doubled down, they've tripled down. The Captain America, patriotic symbol of the good things about America. Nobody's perfect, so no country's perfect, but he's always symbolized good things about America. Created by Jewish creators during World War II. They're saying he's always been a Nazi, and his hero stuff was the lie. I don't even know what to say. All I can say is I'm not calling for a boycott. People can do whatever they want. I haven't bought Marvel for over a year, and I don't plan to buy Marvel anytime soon because it's not just the Captain America thing. They've gone goofy in a whole lot of different things. And anybody want to comment before we move on?
I just check it out from the library and just keep my money for other things.
Yeah, fair enough. I did that for a long time. What about you, Gene? You have any thoughts on this?
I think that this is Marvel trying to basically wring dollars out of the sky, and I think it's a very cynical move. There are lots of things that you can do to enhance the value of a character without necessarily having to turn him upside down and shake his pockets.
Right.
You know,
well,
out of his pockets.
And I do think that they're trying to shake things up, but they're also doing it. If you look at the whole spectrum of what Marvel's doing right now, there's also some political and sociological things going, ideologies going on with Marvel. I'm not necessarily opposed to social commentary, but I feel like they've kind of moved over into social conditioning, and I'm not going to beat that dead horse anymore. I think I've used up enough airtime in other shows talking about that. But the thing is, though, Michael Tierney, who's a local comic book store owner, in fact, he's the sponsor here on the show. I just said, Michael, I hate that this stuff's affecting your bottom line. He goes, this isn't affecting my bottom line. He goes, I've only had 2 people order from both of my stores. I've only had 2 people pre-order this Secret Empire stuff. So I just order light. It doesn't hurt me. So he says the stuff that hurts him is when people get super jazzed about an event and then it tanks. Like they buy the first issue and then he orders a bunch and doesn't order anything after that. But Marvel Comics, for the first time in decades, is going down. Their sales are down, and DC's actually giving them a good run for their money. So anyway, I don't want to spend a lot more time on that. I like to keep Shane Plays positive when possible, but I'm just disappointed with Marvel. And I think Gene put it very well. It's a cynical move. Okay, moving forward. Like I said, folks, if you want to know more, these news items are at shaneplays.com. That last news item was from Screen Rant. All right. Are we Dune fan? I'm a Dune fan. Anybody else here a Dune fan?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. What about you, Gene?
Absolutely.
So the new
yes, on time from the books.
Yeah, the books. Well, I liked the 80s movie well enough for what it was, and I liked the SciFi.com miniseries. They were okay, but no adaptation has ever done it full justice. Well, evidently, the new Dune movie is going to be written by the guy, and I don't know if this is good or not. Y'all can decide. This is according to Epicstream, by the guy who wrote Forrest Gump. So there you go. I don't know. Veteran screenwriter Eric Roth is going to write the Dune reboot. So, and then Cesario, I'm probably saying that wrong, and Arrival director Dennis Sicario and Arrival director Dennis Villeneuve, I'm saying that wrong too, is helming the film.
Villeneuve.
He's the guy who's also directing the upcoming Blade Runner 2049, which I'm sure is going to be a great movie, but leave Blade Runner alone. The ambiguous ending is part of what makes it great. Anyway, that's all I got to say there. Any other thoughts, guys?
Well, you've got a screenwriter and you've got a director that are experienced in bringing, science fiction books to the screen and doing it very well. So, hey,
why not?
Why not?
Yeah. What do you think, Gene?
I think the initial reaction of having the Forrest Gump screenwriter write science fiction. I mean, that's the first thing.
Paul Atreides is just going to run all the way across Dune for like a year, across Arrakis,
and shed his crutches in the first 10 steps.
Yeah,
I think I think people panicking about this because they see this from this very thin sliver of a viewpoint are in big shock, because I think Eric Roth is going to knock this out of the park. I've seen Forrest Gump, and it is a masterpiece of screenwriting.
Yeah, it really is.
And don't expect anything less from him on the new Dune.
So I think that's a good perspective. Here's my perspective. Dune is so rich, it needs to be one of those TV series like on HBO or whatever, an ongoing TV series to really dig deep into it. That's my opinion. I think it's really hard to tell the story in 2 hours, but we'll give them a shot. I actually liked the David Lynch movie for what it was. It did some weird stuff, but I like it as a movie. So anyway,
well, it's like what you were saying. There's so much to tell.
Yeah,
you can only tell so much in the amount of time it had. I think the original cut on Dune, the Dune movie, was 3 hours.
Yeah,
and
that probably and you still can't tell everything. It's just a really rich book on its own.
We interviewed his son Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson on the Event Horizon on Krypton Radio last year. And one of the things that they said that stuck in my mind was that Frank Herbert's notes on the universe in which this is set are like over 500, almost 600 pages of notes.
Yeah, it's probably the only other fictional universe that rivals it for backstory is probably Tolkien.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, it's just so rich and deep, you know. So anyway, I got to move on just so I can get us through this news segment because I want to leave us good time to talk about Doctor Who. I'm going to go through these next ones really quick, and people can go to the show notes at shaneplays.com and learn more. Watchmen is getting an R-rated animated adaptation. So it's going to be another DC animated movie. And I guess it's going, because they deviated a bit in the live action version from the storyline, especially who the main villain, or not who the main villain was, but how the main villain's plot and all that stuff. Evidently, this is going to be closer to the source material, but they're going to make it R-rated so that they can, you know, stay true to the book. There was a motion comic that came out for Watchmen when the movie did, which a lot of people, including myself, didn't like because the guy who was reading it like an audiobook just didn't do the women's voices very right. So I very well. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. This is cool. I think it's there's a TV channel called Freeform that I've ran across a couple of times. They've got 2 Marvel series coming out. One is Cloak and Dagger. Anybody see this Cloak and Dagger trailer?
I've seen the trailer.
Yeah. Have you seen it, Gene?
We've got the article on the front page of Krypton.
I think maybe that's even where that may be even where I got my stuff from. I just linked the YouTube on the show notes. It looked pretty good. I've always liked Tyrone and Tandy. They were great. They're quintessential 80s comic characters, in my opinion. 80s Marvel. You know, you got the light and the dark. They even showed in the trailer, they showed Tandy with one of her little light daggers. So I'm curious to see how they pull it off. I'm looking forward to it. And then Marvel's New Warriors is coming, and they don't have a trailer for it yet, but that's also going to be Freeform from what I understand. And they've announced the lineup. The main thing I want to focus in on this story, and people can go to the website and read more, shaneplays.com. This is from IGN. Squirrel Girl has made it in. Live action TV show Squirrel Girl.
That's going to be a hoot if they do it right.
If they do it right. She's a great character.
She is.
Fantastic character.
It's being done as a comedy.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Is it outright comedy?
Yeah. Oh, they're not making any apologies.
Well, is it a comedy like Powerless, the DC comedy, where it's almost like an Office knockoff, or I wonder.
Yeah, it's definitely tongue in cheek.
Okay.
You know? I mean, where are you going to go? Dramatic sense with Squirrel Girl.
Yeah. Well, but she can be dramatic in the comics in moments. You know, a good comedy can have moments of seriousness that are, you know, the counterpoint very well. I love Doreen Green, the Squirrel Girl, and what's it? Chitty Chat. What's the name of her squirrel? Tippy Toe. Yeah. So Tippy Toe is going to be in it too. Yeah. Then we've got Mr. Immortal. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that Squirrel Girl is the most powerful character in the Marvel Universe.
Well, yeah, because she's beat up like
Galactic.
Yeah, she's beat up like everybody.
So that makes her the most powerful character in the Marvel Universe.
Well, plus she talks to squirrels. So, I mean, right there you go. All right, we've also got Night Thrasher, Speedball, Microbe, and Debris. So, I don't know. That's the lineup. A couple other quick news items, and then we will move on because I gotta get us moving on, folks. We gotta talk about Doctor Who. We gotta do it. Wheel of Time series has finally landed at Sony. So the Wheel of Time TV series that has been talked about forever is landing at Sony. That is according to Variety. There's no further news on it other than it's at Sony. So, and if there's any book series that's ever begged for a TV series, not a movie, it's the Wheel of Time. That's the book series that just keeps on giving, even though it's over now. Did you get anybody?
It's almost.
Have you read it, Neale?
It's almost.
I tried. I really, really tried. A lot of my friends will make faces at me when I said I tried. I couldn't get through Out of the World. You know, maybe it'll be one of those things where the TV series is more approachable than the book.
Right. I love the plotting of the Wheel of Time. The prose can turn me off at times, but I love the plotting and the characters. What about you, Gene?
I've read only bits of it, to be honest. Right. I do know that the Wheel of Time mythos is one of the most rich.
It's very rich.
Literary universe.
Yeah, it is very rich.
Yeah, it's
One might almost say long-winded if one were being cynical, but that's just me. Yeah, one of my friends loves Robert Jordan, so I'm probably going to get in trouble for that. Okay, and then finally, just to prove this is a Doctor Who show, the final news segment or news item, and this is from the Register. Doctor Who, I just love this headline. Doctor Who inspired proxy transmogrifies politically sensitive web to avoid gov censorship. So, and they call it the Slitheen tool. Because the Slitheen, of course, can take the shape of other things, right? And from there is the race from Doctor Who. So, in a nutshell, help! I'm trapped in an oversized nutshell. Imagine you're in North Korea and you want to read stuff that is the Anarchist Cookbook or whatever, right? This proxy on the internet will disguise it to look like material that is approved by the government censorship tools online. And they call it the Slitheen. Oh. And some scientists, computer boffins in Canada have come up with this to help people that are in politically oppressive regimes to still get access to what they need. So, and I guess in an homage to Doctor Who, they call it Slitheen. So, final news segment. So I'm just going to read that news article. I'm going to go ahead.
That's impressive.
Yeah. I'm just going to read the headline again because I love the headline so much. Doctor Who inspired proxy transmogrifies politically sensitive web to avoid gov censorship, courtesy of the Register. Folks, I got to get us to a break so we can talk Doctor Who. When we come back, we're going to have more with Gene Turnbow of Krypton Radio and Neale Carter, and we're going to be talking Doctor Who. Take us to a break, Zach.
Comic book lovers, visit thewildstars.com today. From the mind of author and comic book industry expert Michael Tierney, it's not just a comic book, it's a comic book novel. The Wild Stars is sci-fi and so much more. Learn the explanations behind UFOs and space gods. This isn't the Twilight Zone. This is the region of the Milky Way galaxy known as the Wild Stars. We guarantee you've never read anything like it. The complete comic book novel took 20 years to tell, with one reviewer noting, the story of the Wild Stars stretches ambitiously across space and time, from small-town murders to the destruction of planets, with every event given multiple layers of meaning. If you haven't read The Wild Stars, you're missing out. Visit thewildstars.com today. The die is cast. Plunge into worlds of fantastic adventure where dragons lie and the undead stalk the shades of your mind's imagines. Where creatures of legend plunder wealth through the horror of their passage. Monsters grim and foul hold the ecstasy of gold and the renown of glory. All this and more awaits you and your friends in the unlimited, fantastic world of the Castles and Crusades role-playing game from Trollord Games. Visit your friendly local game store or Trollord.com to get your copy today. A rules-light, adaptable game that has stood the test of time. 12 years in constant publication with no new additions. Castles and Crusades is the original, easy-to-play attribute check system. Join us and unleash your imagination. Visit your friendly local game store or Trollord.com to get your copy of Castles and Crusades today. Shane Plays Radio is blessed to have sponsors, and we appreciate them very much. However, did you know that you can also support the show as an individual for as little as $1 an episode? Simply go to patreon.com/Shane Plays.
Hey, welcome back to Shane Plays Geek Talk Radio, a journey into the things we love. If the music there wasn't a clue, the classic Doctor and the TARDIS from the Time Lords back in the late 80s, we're talking Doctor Who. Oh, yeah, we're get on up here and get geeky. We're going to talk some Doctor Who. I got Gene Turnbow from Krypton Radio on the line, and I've got Neale Carter, certified geek and Whovian, in the studio with me, and producer Zach running the show at the bridge of the Starship Enterprise there. Don't forget, this is live talk radio, so you can call 501-823-0965, or you can tweet me at Shane Plays. That's ShanePlays. If you'd like to be part of the conversation. Don't forget that everything we're talking about today, show notes are up at ShanePlays.com. All right, guys, let's get in. We got about 24, 25 minutes. Let's talk some Who.
All right.
So right off the bat, let's just start out. Okay. We had a year hiatus of Doctor Who. We had the Christmas special, the return of Dr. Mysterio. But other than that, we didn't have any Who for like a year. So we have a new season of Who that premiered this past weekend, new episode. And it's also Capaldi's last season, which personally makes me sad because I think Capaldi has the potential to be a really great doctor. I think, and I think this season, he's finally getting the season where he's coming to his own and he's got his own companions and all that. And then we're going to lose him, but that's life. So what did we think? And Neale, you go first. Gene, you can follow up. What did you think of the first episode, the pilot? What did you think of it?
I really loved it. It was a kind of a callback to classic episodes. It felt like a timeless episode.
Okay.
Just very straightforward. I like Bill as a companion.
I'm just going to go on record. Yeah. I love Bill. Yeah.
Just a very sort of classic companion.
Yeah. Well, I like Nardole as well. Is that his name?
Nardole. Yeah.
Nardole. I like him a lot too. And they're kind of hinting around that he may be half mechanical or something.
No, he's pretty much fully mechanical.
Except for his head, right? Didn't he rescue his head out of or did he build a robot to be like the guy?
He rescued the head out of the contraption.
Yeah, from the Husbands of River Song episode, right? Okay. Yeah. I like Nardole. I like goofy, weird companions. Doctor Who doesn't have to be about the beautiful people for me, right?
Right.
It's okay if it is, but I like quirky, weird, crotchety Doctor Who. I'm totally fine with that. And that's in Capaldi. This season looks like that's what we're going to get. So what did you think of the episode, Gene?
I thought that it was brilliantly acted, brilliantly directed, brilliantly written. I love Pearl Mackie as
huge. Loved her.
As Bill. I thought also that this was just so clean and so straightforward as a Doctor Who episode that it makes a perfect introduction to the series. If you've never seen the series before, you can start here.
Right. And
it was a great episode.
That's usually what happens when you introduce a new companion, because then you see things from their eyes. They learn about the Doctor. They learn about the TARDIS. They get to react to the enemies in a new, fresh way. So usually when you get a new, that's one of the reasons why you have to write companions out and bring new ones in, because it keeps the show fresh in a certain way, and of course, when you get new actors playing the Doctor, I just wish that we'd get longer runs like we had with like Tom Baker or Tennant or something like that. So, but I thought it was a good episode. I liked it a lot. I thought Pearl Mackie was great. And I love her character, the actress, the character of Bill, the actress, it's all working for me. And I'm going to go on record because, I spend a lot of time ranting against Marvel for their social conditioning. If you're going to introduce like an ethnic character or a gay character or whatever, introduce new characters that stand on their own. And that's what Bill does. Right?
Exactly.
Don't take an existing Doctor Who character for example, and then suddenly say, oh, well, they've been gay the whole time because we want to talk about gay issues. That's the stuff I don't like. But if you introduce a new character that stands on their own, that's an amazing character, 2 thumbs up to you. And, I've seen a lot of stuff saying, hey, Doctor Who finally got a gay companion. And Neale, our mutual friend Zeb, pointed out that Jack Sparrow, I guess, is bisexual.
Exactly. Yeah.
But he wasn't ever a full-on companion, right? I mean, he didn't have his full-on arc. He was more like a recurring guest star.
Listed as a companion in all the literature.
I guess I just never really saw him as I saw him as like a recurring guest star that kind of stood on his own with the Doctor more than a companion, but I don't know. Of course, and he may or may not be the great head of Bo. We don't know. So what are your thoughts on that, Gene?
I think you're confusing the face of Bo with the Pirates of the Caribbean there. It's not Jack Sparrow.
Jack, what did I say? Jack Harkness.
Yes,
my bad.
Jack Harkness.
Thank you for correct. Yeah, no, yeah, Jack Harkness. Yeah, you're right. So, could you imagine Jack Sparrow as a companion?
It boggles the mind. It really does.
And I don't even want to go that route. I'm not even going down that route.
I know Russell Davies wanted to mix. He wanted to do an official Harry Potter Doctor Who crossover at one point.
Which would have been fun.
They wouldn't let him.
That would have been fun.
They wouldn't split the party, so to speak. But that just takes it into another level entirely.
It does take it to another level. All right. I liked the episode. Things that stood out to me. I loved that the Doctor went back and took photos so that Bill could have photos of his mom or her mom. And I liked that. I loved the Doctor's like, well, I don't know what to do with this enemy, so I'm going to stick a Dalek on it. I loved that so much. I don't even know how to express how much I loved that. And here's something I caught, and this may be me reading way too much into it. So I want your opinion on this, both of you. On Rose, the episode Rose, which was the very first Eccleston episode with Billie Piper.
Right.
At the beginning of that episode, they sort of showed some super quick cuts of her in her normal day, working, hanging out at the fountain with her boyfriend, whatever. And then at the end of the episode, she ran as fast as she could into the TARDIS with the Doctor. In this episode, if you'll remember, they did the same thing. They showed those quick cuts of her like making French fries or chips, if you're British, and just kind of doing these quick shots of her normal day. And then at the end of the episode, she ran as fast as she could into the TARDIS. So am I reading too much, or was that a callback?
No, you're not.
Okay.
I actually read some commentary from someone online that they likened this episode to feeling very much like a Russell T. Davies episode, not a Stephen Moffat written episode.
Right.
That it was so straightforward and clean without the little twisty thing at the end that Moffat has been doing for years and years.
It was a very clean episode. Yeah. Very clean. You could watch it. You don't need it. You could just jump in and watch it. Any thoughts on that, Gene?
No, I agree with you.
I mean, did y'all even notice that, or am I just looking too heavy into that?
No, I noticed that as well.
It's we have to establish a familiarity, a sense of, yes, we are home.
Right.
And I think using that approach, and we all, when we see a new companion react to the interior of the TARDIS for the first time, things like that.
And Bill's reaction was the best.
It's like a kitchen. Oh, that's I've never heard that one before.
Yeah, she just wanted to go to the restroom. She's like, "Where's the restroom? I've had a fright."
And now we know where it is.
Yeah, now we know exactly where it's at. Yeah. Well, another thing I really liked.
Yeah.
I almost wish they would never have had her say it's bigger on the inside. Because they always.
It's a classic catchphrase. They're going to do it.
It would have been funny if she never would have said that. I want the companion one of these days that walks in, looks around, and shrugs and says, "Okay, what's next?" and just gets it. But it is a classic catchphrase, and I loved how they were standing at the door, and it was all dark, and they pulled back, and the only point of light was the door, and then the light started coming on. That was really good. So
the big deal.
Yeah.
You remember that when Clara first saw the inside of the TARDIS, she said, she like go outside and run around the TARDIS and come back in, and she said, "It's smaller on the outside."
Oh, I don't remember that.
That's right. Yeah, they flipped it around for Clara.
That was a nice reversal. So, all right,
and it's like thing. It gives you a nice insight into what's going on in the character's head.
Right,
and it's one of those rare immediate opportunities to illustrate that.
Right. Now, it is a great way to establish the character by how they react to the TARDIS. So, what do we think's in that vault?
Could be anything.
Now there's a question.
Yeah. Well, we know it's not the. What was the thing that Rory got locked in, or Amy got locked into for
the Pandorica?
Yeah, we know it's not the Pandorica, so we can rule that out.
Right. No, it's not.
Yeah. Hey, Gene, you might want to, if you can, or Zach, see if you can turn Gene's volume up just a smidge. Okay. Can you any chance you can turn your volume up? I know you're on Skype, right, Gene?
Yes. Let me see what I can do here.
Okay. Well, that sounded a little bit better just right there. Maybe it was a position of your mic or something. So I'm assuming
I'm on a mixer.
the Vault is going to be an ongoing arc for the whole
probably
season, right? Yeah. Okay. Because
it's Moffat. He's going to have some sort of MacGuffin that kind of threads its way through the rest of the show,
right?
Like the confession dial last season.
And they're going to open it up, and there's going to just be a little piece of paper on there that says "Hugs and Kisses, Bad Wolf." Right? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, so all right, what do we think of Capaldi?
Whatever it is, it's going to be big.
It'll be big. What do we think of Capaldi? I've been very open. I love Capaldi. My favorite classic Who Doctor is John Pertwee. I like the older crotchety Doctor. I have no problem with it. I love the attack eyebrows. I love all of it. What do you guys think of Capaldi as the Doctor?
I really wanted to like Capaldi a lot.
Yeah.
I first saw him in the Neil Gaiman miniseries Neverwhere years ago. Back on when I had it on VCR. I had a VHS tape, and loved him as the Angel Islington. He's really been saddled with a lot of baggage the past 2 seasons. I do not think he's had a fair shake as the Doctor with his seasons. I think this is the season where he gets that fair shake, but it's too late now because he's moving on. Right. What about you, Gene? Do you like Capaldi?
I do. He's a marvelous performer. He has a tremendous sense of comedic timing, and he really deeply understands the character. And I agree with you. I don't think he's gotten a fair shake. I think he hasn't had a chance to establish his character in its own context. He's working with the baggage from the previous actor.
Well, if you'll notice, the best Capaldi episode we've had so far, and in fact, I would argue it's one of the best pieces of television ever broadcast, was the final episode of last season, the Heaven Sent episode, where he was in that castle and he had to punch his way through that crystal wall. That was one of the best pieces of television I've ever seen. I thought it was amazing, whether it's Doctor Who or not. And that's the first episode where he no longer had the baggage. He was just on his own. Clara's gone, and it's just him. And I thought that was one of the most amazing episodes of anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was a really good episode.
It was fantastic. And so I think that speaks to what Gene just said, that you get, and I think you mentioned it too, Neale, get the baggage gone from the other companions, the other storylines, let Capaldi do his own thing, and he's pretty amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. So we already established we like Bill. I think that Pearl Mackey's going to go on to be considered one of the best companions ever. That's just my feeling from, and only time will tell. What's that?
She's leaving at the end of series 10 as well.
Really?
Yeah. We're only getting one season of Bill.
What in the heck? Okay. I don't even know what to say to that because she's amazing so far. Yeah. See, I don't understand. I understand the showrunner's leaving and all, but I don't get it. So,
well, they want a completely clean slate.
Yeah. Go ahead, Gene.
Everybody's bailing out at once.
Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah. Everybody's bailing out at once.
That is so weird. Anyway, I don't even know what to say to that because now it's like I don't want to get attached to the character because she's great, but I think she's great. Whether she leaves in a season or not, I think she's going to be a standout companion, and the reaction that I've seen to her has been overwhelmingly positive. Everyone likes her, so I thought she did great. And I like Nardole, or however you say it. I like him a lot. So I just like the quirky, weird companions.
You probably like Chameleon back in the day.
Yeah, I like them all. I'm waiting for the Dalek companion. I'm ready for the Dalek companion. Is it Rusty? Wasn't there? Yeah, there's a friendly Dalek running around out there somewhere. I can't remember what his name was. What did they call him, Gene? They gave him a name.
I don't remember, but
they gave him a nickname.
I don't remember. Well, I was going to say that AV Bytes. There's a performance group on YouTube called AV Bytes, and they did a Doctor Who. They did a musical episode of Doctor Who where he picks up a Dalek as a companion, and it is charming.
I'm ready for it, but whatever his name is, I will call him Bob. He's going to be Bob the Dalek. I don't care what they officially name him. Yeah. He's going to be Bob the Dalek. Folks, we're talking about Doctor Who, the new season, which is Capaldi's last season, unfortunately. You can call in at 501-823-0965, or you can tweet me at ShanePlays. I'm going to read a quick love here for one of our sponsors, and then we'll get back to it. Some goblins are your friends. Game Goblins is Central Arkansas's premier retailer Magic the Gathering, Warhammer 40K, board games, card games, RPGs, miniatures, and hobby accessories. Call Game Goblins at 501-224-GAME or visit them online at gamegoblins.com. That's 501-224-GAME or gamegoblins.com. They're conveniently located at 1121 South Bowman, right on the corner of Bowman and Canis in West Little Rock. And there's plenty of inventory and store size to both buy and play your games. So go check them out. For all your gaming needs, I heartily recommend Game Goblins. Make sure to check out their customer loyalty program that rewards you based on your actual purchases. Game Goblins earns your business and keeps it. First-time customers mention Shane Plays and receive $10 off your purchase of $50 or more. Call Game Goblins at 501-224-GAME or visit them online at gamegoblins.com. Tell them Shane Plays sent you. And I want to point out, June 17th, we're having free RPG Day at Game Goblins. It's going to be an all-day event. Come on out and check out games maybe that you do know, like D&D, or other games maybe that you're not familiar with, like Numenera, or the Star Trek Adventures playtest, or any of Savage Rifts, Castles of Crusades. There's a whole lot of other games that'll be going on that day, and it's free. So put that on your calendar, June 17th. And I'm going to be broadcasting my show live from there on June 17th.
Comic book lovers, visit thewildstars.com today. From the mind of author and comic book industry expert Michael Tierney, it's not just a comic book, it's a comic book novel. The Wild Stars is sci-fi and so much more. Learn the explanations behind UFOs and space gods. This isn't the Twilight Zone. This is the region of the Milky Way galaxy known as the Wild Stars. We guarantee you've never read anything like it. The complete comic book novel took 20 years to tell, with one reviewer noting, the story of the Wild Stars stretches ambitiously across space and time, from small-town murders to the destruction of planets, with every event given multiple layers of meaning. If you haven't read The Wild Stars, you're missing out. Visit thewildstars.com today.
The die is cast.
Plunge into worlds of fantastic adventure where dragons lie and the undead stalk the shades of your mind's imagines. Where creatures of legend plunder wealth through the horror of their passage. Monsters grim and foul hold the ecstasy of gold and the renown of glory. All this and more awaits you and your friends in the unlimited, fantastic world of the Castles and Crusades role-playing game from Trollord Games. Visit your friendly local game store or trollord.com to get your copy today. A rules-light, adaptable game that has stood the test of time. 12 years in constant publication with no new additions, Castles and Crusades is the original, easy-to-play attribute check system. Join us and unleash your imagination. Visit your friendly local game store or trollord.com to get your copy of Castles and Crusades today. Shane Plays Radio is blessed to have sponsors, and we appreciate them very much. However, did you know that you can also support the show as an individual for as little as $1 an episode? Simply go to patreon.com/Shane Plays.
Okay, back to Doctor Who. All right. So, guys, based on what you've seen or heard, any predictions on how this season is going to end, or maybe what'll happen in the Christmas special?
Well, I did see Peter Capaldi on Graham Norton after the premiere last week on BBC America, and he did say he'd already filmed his death scene.
Yeah.
So we may see a Christmas special that is whoever's the new Doctor is going to be. It's going to be their show.
Well, they've done, Tennant came in on a Christmas special, if I remember right.
He did.
Yeah. So, if you watch the trailer for what's to come in this season, there's a brief clip of, it looks like a regeneration scene with the light pouring out and all that stuff. So now here's something I saw in a headline. I don't know how accurate this is, but the first Doctor, the William Hartnell Doctor, it's obviously not going to be William Hartnell, but it'll be an actor.
It'll be David Bradley.
David is going to be in the Christmas special. That's what I saw.
That's the rumor. That's the rumor that David Bradley will reprise the first Doctor as he did in Adventures in Time and Space, the biopic they did of the first season of Doctor Who.
I have not seen that. Did he do a good job?
He did a fantastic job. That's what that is. It's the story of Sidney Newman, Verity Lambert, and Waris Hussein, who were the creator, producer, and director of the first Doctor Who episode, An Unearthly Child, back in 1963.
Right.
It was done by Mark Gatiss, and it's fantastic. It is absolutely worth
I remember
watching.
it came on, and I just, for whatever reason, I didn't check it out, but I'd like to see it. And speaking of An Unearthly Child, I loved that this Doctor has a picture of Susan and Riversong on his desk. I thought that was a really nice touch. That spoke volume to the fans, you know.
Along with the coffee cup full of old
sonic
screwdrivers.
The old sonic screwdrivers. Yeah, that was classic. So, do you have any thoughts or predictions on this season or the Christmas special, Gene?
Well, we did a little bit of digging, actually, on this. There's a question as to who the next Doctor Who's going to be.
And I've got a couple of news items that I want to mention on that, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, this may be one of the ones you want to talk about, which is this whole rumor mill. You know, the rumors flying fast and thick about who's going to be Peter Capaldi's replacement. One of the most interesting theories is that the new Doctor would be female, but as it turns out, the BBC has flatly denied this. They are more interested in having another David Tennant type and aren't feeling lucky enough to take the chance of casting a casting decision of this magnitude. What happened was a fan wrote in and said, I've been hearing rumors, that you're going to do a female Doctor, and I think this would confuse the heck out of my kids who don't get this yet. And the representative from the BBC said her name was Joanne Coyne. She wrote back, said there are currently no plans for a female Doctor. And she said, we appreciate you're a big Doctor Who fan and you have concerns that the program,
right, MME, because it's
the British style, would change should there be a female Doctor. Be assured that there are currently no plans to have a female Doctor Who. So that's one rumor down. And the other rumor is that Chris Marshall, who just announced his departure from the crime drama series Death in Paradise, was going to be the new Doctor. And the breathless statements from the rumor mill have been, he's been cast for Doctor Who, and they've already started filming. Well, while those statements might be true, it does not necessarily mean that Marshall has been cast as Capaldi's replacement. He's apparently in an upcoming episode, but not as a regeneration of Peter Capaldi.
Right. Well, those are the two main contenders that I've seen. Was one Chris Marshall, who I'm not familiar with, but his picture looks like he could certainly be a Doctor. Because there's sort of a quirkiness you look for.
Right.
And then the other was, the next Doctor is rumored to be Chewing Gum's black female star, Michaela Coel, who is, I think that's what produced the response you're talking about, Gene, where they wrote in and said, I'm not sure if my kids are ready for a female Doctor. Here's my thing on Gallifreyans. They're not Time Lords. That's their title. Their race is Gallifreyans. Time Lords and Time Ladies is their title. Switching genders, that was never established in the previous continuity, but they've already established it can be done with the Master and all that. So if you're going to do it, you're going to do it, whatever. Just, cast an interesting woman to play the Doctor and move on with it. It's going to happen sooner or later. I would not personally take, the BBC's responses right now to indicate that there's not going to be a female Doctor, because they're saying there's no plans right now, but that doesn't mean a plan can't change tomorrow.
And see, here's the thing. Right after they said that, there were no plans, that one person, the BBC made an official statement saying there have been no casting decisions made. on the state of Series 11 as of yet.
As of yet. So just because there's no plans doesn't mean there's a final decision.
Right.
I'm not discounting. Gene is reading BBC's official statement.
Right.
But the BBC, just like any other organization, can talk out of both sides of its mouth.
Exactly.
And they know it would be a major marketing thing to do a female doctor.
Oh, they're going to play their cards close to the chest on this one.
Well, plus there's people that ideologically would like to see a female doctor. Right. So, I would not rule it out. Will it be the next Doctor? I don't know. But it's going to happen sooner or later. People want it. There's a lot of people. I don't care either way. Just give me an interesting character as the Doctor, right? But there's people who want it, right? And it's going to happen sooner or later. So that being said, are either of you familiar with this star, Michaela Coel?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know anything about her, but there was a rumor. And there was I can't remember her name. A few months back, there was another female possible lead. I can't remember her name.
They've tossed around several. They tossed around Tilda Swinton as a possible person.
I think she would make a good doctor. That's what I was thinking of.
Olivia Colman, who was on Broadchurch with David Tennant, and that was done by Chris Chibnall, who is going to be the new showrunner. And so they've got all sorts of, they've been throwing all sorts of names around. The whole Chris Marshall thing, most of that comes from the British betting website Ladbrokes, who took Chris Marshall off the chart because so many people had voted on him.
Okay. Well, hey, guys, I got to wrap us here. We got 20 seconds left in the show. Zach actually gave us some extra time. Gene, Neale, thanks so much. No matter what, who will continue so Whovians can rejoice. All right, guys, I got to do this to you. It's the bad joke of the week. Why are archaeologists so annoyed?
Do tell. Why are they?
They always have a bone to pick. And that's it for this week on Shane Plays Geek Talk Radio.
I don't like it.
What?
Your face.
Well, I don't like it either. But it's all right up until the eyebrows. Then it just goes haywire. Look at the eyebrows. These are attack eyebrows. You can take bottle tops off with these.
They are mighty eyebrows indeed, sir.
They're cross. They're crosser than the rest of my face. They're independently cross. They probably want to seed from the rest of my face and set up their own independent state of eyebrows. That's Scot. I am Scottish and I've gone Scottish.
Shane Plays Radio is blessed to have sponsors, and we appreciate them very much. However, did you know that you can also support the show as an individual for as little as $1 an episode? Simply go to patreon.com/ShanePlays.